I tried to show this video yesterday, but it was a failure and I had problems with the machine I was trying to use. Not sure what the problem was. I worked on it till late last night. So let me try and do a short one and be successful and get this uploaded. So to do my award patches, because I don't do chain stitch, I use my commercial embroidery machine. So the first thing I have to do is set up a digitized file with my outside furthest line, which becomes my cut line. I'm going to take this to the table and use my straight blade and cut all along this line, trying to be as close as possible. And then you might see there's another line about 1/4 of an inch inside of it. I run that initially because that's what shows me my lines to be able to moss stitch on the inside of those shapes. So I'm going to stop now, take it over to the machine and show you what I do. After I cut it, I'm going to take my straight edge and cut this outermost line. So you can see that I have cut almost right on my green thread that I used to stitch that line, but it doesn't matter that I'm slightly off because I can go back and clean it up after I do my embroidery work. Okay, so I put my design back to the very beginning because now it's going to give me that outline again, which is going to show me where exactly to place my chenilled patch. Okay, here's my furthest outside line. Here's my patch. I am going to match this up as perfectly as I can. Then I'm going to Scotch tape it where I hope no stitches will go. And this is very important when you're embroidering on top of the moss stitch or the chenille stitch. You need the solvy so that the letters that are the text that I'm going to do don't sink in. Okay, so I have my patch in place. I've Scotch taped it to hold it, and I have my solvy on top. Now I move to my second color, which, if it's all correct, should give me that outline again where I stitched my chenille stitch. And that basically is just holding everything down. My patch is now in place. It's holding my solvy on top. And then it's going to go back and do a zigzag and a satin stitch, and I'll show you what it looks like when that's done. I'm going to stop it for a minute because I do want to explain something. On that line that defines where my moss or fill stitch is going, you can see that I don't have any moss stitch on the outside of the zigzag stitch. So when you do that, you only want to moss stitch right up to but not over the line that defines that shape. That way, when your satin stitch runs, you don't have any moss stitch poking out over here on the opposite side of your patch. Looking fairly perfect at this point. I'm happy with it. It might very well be a finished product.